few minutes for the people who just are joining us. Welcome. Laurel gave a welcome just now. I'm Julie Versinski Lewis. I'm the neuroscientist on the team.
Hey everyone, I'm Heidi Sherwin, and I offer mindful movement and breath practices. It's great to be with all of you.
Yes, and I'm Laurel Falconberry, outpatient therapist at Chestnut Ridge and part of the mindfulness team. Thank you. Thank you all for coming.
Great. I'm excited for our topic today. You may be thinking like, mindfulness, what does that have to do with awe? But really, I think you'll see in some of the science, and I'm not sure why it's like coming up. I kind of prepped it to come up. That it is very much a overlapping set of brain regions, being in the state where you're more likely to get that kind of open-minded, open to experiences that make life feel more sacred, and make life feel more like less focused on just me, and a little more focused or more broad to experiences. So first of all, what is awe? What evokes it? And you all can kind of start thinking about that definition and how you would define it. But there was a research study that was done by Dr. Keltner and his group at the Berkeley Center for Greater Good. And what they did is they sent this definition. So see if this jives with what just came in your head about what you think awe is. This is how they defined it. Being in the presence of something vast and mysterious that transcends your current understanding of the world. And so they sent that definition transcribed and translated into different languages to 2,600 individuals around the world. People from rich countries, poor countries, dictatorships, communism, democracy, all different cultures, all around the world got this definition, and they wanted to see what this universal experience of awe was and what provokes it. So they said, here is the definition, come up with an experience you had where you felt that you were in the presence of something vast and mysterious that transcends your current understanding of the world. So I invite you guys to think of that. Rest your mind right now. We can do a little mini meditation on this. Okay, just kind of feeling your breath. And then think of that experience of awe. And if you can't think of something, you can just continue with the breath. Maybe something will pop up. Maybe it'll pop up tomorrow. And if you did have an experience of awe arise, a memory, big or small, how did it make you feel? And how does it make you feel thinking about that experience? Does it have a sensation in your body? Does it affect your mood? Or did it at the time? And then simply come back to the breath, feeling your feet on the ground as a sense of grounding and a sense of equanimity. So maybe in the comments, I'm just going to stop the share for a second to see if anyone had any experiences they'd like to share, or what they think what would be the most universal experiences of awe. Anybody have an experience to share? I did this awe talk for the Columbus Science Museum, an event, and they had someone had brought a group of prisoners to the talk, and it was amazing to hear their experience of awe. And one, for example, chose the birth of his child and being in the presence of the birth of a child. Ooh, being on an awesome hike at Zion National Park, that sounds automatic awe. Beautiful. seeing huge mountains. Ah, birth of a grandson. Well, if you want, you can, I'm going to turn off the share because I'm going to put back the slideshow, but continue, if you want to add more, you can. Because we're going to find the big reveal. What was globally the most common experience? And there are 8 wonders that they characterize, the 8 wonders of awe, the top 8 things that bring awe. So we kind of did some guesses. There were a lot of nature. In the United States, nature was number 1, so you guys are kind of right. But the number 1 globally was moral beauty. That's a little bit of a surprise, but this is being in the presence or thinking about someone that really is inspirational. So they may have done tremendous selfless acts of kindness, of care and compassion, of maybe they had every right to be angry, but instead they started a charitable foundation in the name of their, child who was a victim of a crime. Those types of things that, like, wow, I would have a hard time doing that, but they inspired me that you could be something greater. The other 8 wonders, so we got moral beauty, we've got collective effervescence. Any of you ever enjoy being at a Mountaineer football game or another game of your choice and you're in the crowd and you're all cheering, or you're at a worship service? That sense of being, or your favorite concert and your all-time favorite song comes on and everybody is singing along. Those types of experiences where you feel like you're part of something vast and larger than yourself. Nature, number 1 in the US, number 3 globally. Music, visual design. Heidi's husband is a photographer, so being in the presence of human created visual art. Spiritual and religious experiences, and life and death, birth, and being sometimes in the presence of someone having a remarkable passing. There are a couple, and having an epiphany, like a light bulb going off in your head. There are other things, like people would, say, like this amazing flavor or color or video game or sex even, So sometimes people have individual experiences that don't fit those 8 wonders. But more interesting, perhaps, is what didn't provoke awe. Smartphones, laptops, social media never came up. Horror is an emotion that actually overlaps with awe in a way, because it takes us by surprise a little bit, but it is separate from awe. Have you ever gotten cold chills? Like kind of creepy cold chills? Well, awe can sometimes bring warm chills, and that is that kind of wow, like being at that concert experience, right? In contrast to whoa, horror. So there is a little similarity, but it is separate. Also, material acquisition, going shopping never came up. Like, wow, I saw this amazing handbag. Never came up. Money acquisition. But what do we spend a lot of time, and especially a lot of our free time doing? Scrolling on our cell phones, going shopping, trying to make money, acquiring things. So we spend a lot of time in things that don't naturally provoke awe. So we do need to think of ways to balance that out. How can we get in this realm beyond the profane that has a sense of sacredness or wonder about it? Also, one of the key things about awe is it doesn't diminish with repeated exposure. So I happen to be lucky. We have some great views in our neighborhood. Never once do I get tired of looking at the view of the mountains. It never diminishes. Every single time I'm like, wow, yeah. So all experiences have that, looking at the night sky. Wow. You could work at, Yosemite and probably feel sense of awe every time you are there. Also solving the mystery with science of why, you can see Mount Fuji here. Beautiful. Like if you were really there, how amazing that would be. And then you could, turn around and hear someone giving a lecture on how it formed and how there was, once a couple other volcanoes, and then there was a proto-volcano prior to Mount Fuji, and the lava 10,000 years ago erupted and did this. And you could look back on the mountain and it still would provoke awe. So it's not something that diminishes by, learning the mechanics of it. And there's a fun song by Donovan called There Is a Mountain that one of my colleagues kind of turned me on to. First there is a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is. So science could break down all the mechanics of, or you could be amazed at a human body and think of then all the cells, and tendons, and how it developed in mitochondria and whatever. Still the amazing human body, the amazing human life. So those are some things to keep in mind as to like what's not. So there was a study. This is really fun. This is from that same Dacher Keltner lab. He really was one of the few people studying awe. And they went to places that were high in tourist traffic. One of them was the Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco. So people are there. They're coming special just to see it, taking pictures, historical, blah, blah, blah. And Yosemite. And you can see they're both, pretty cool places, but there's definitely an awe difference between the two. He gave them a piece of paper and they approached random tourists who were just there taking their pictures and said, hey, would you mind participating in this research study? You just have to draw a picture of yourself and write me and point to yourself in the picture. So here's what happens. The people in the Fisherman's Wharf, they draw a picture of themselves and they're like, me. And this seems pretty normal. This looks like, a picture a kid might do. They probably would draw the sun in the corner and draw a nice big picture of themselves. At Yosemite, you have to get your microscope, your magnifying glass out, and there's me. So, so this sense of self is shrunk. Now, it's not that we want to be like belittling ourselves. This is different. This is about being a part of something vast. So it's almost like we're expanding our sense of being part of something larger than ourselves, rather than just me, all my problems, this person said something to me, or I'm so stupid for doing that, blah, 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 blah. We're almost like in a little closet when we do that. When we're in the presence of something vast and awe-inspiring, or an awe-inspiring person, we're like, I can be bigger than that. I am part of nature and part of something vast. So that was, looking at the night sky, those types of things bring out, something that makes us feel like ourself is not such a center. A part of our brain that mediates this was researched in a study on awe. So we can do another little awe exercise with this. This is, in this study, they showed beautiful, awe-inspiring scenes. We're going to see one of those from the actual study. And they were told to either become absorbed into the scene or analyze every single scene change. What angle are you coming from? That kind of thing. Okay, so when we do this, absorb yourself into the scene. All right. So how did that kind of make you feel? You can put it on the chat, but I'm going to have you watch it again, but analyze how many scene changes there are. Okay. Now see how that kind of almost turned off that awe feeling, yeah. And then I'm like, were there 2 scene changes in the lightning scene, or was it just one? So it's basically kind of turning on our left brain versus sort of our right brain. I don't really like to use those terms too much, but in this case, it does kind of apply. The other thing that happens is that the part of the brain that's like me and my problems, me and my past, me and my, that kind of, rumination. Why did I say this? That was so dumb. That type of process also is low in that it doesn't turn on that kind of chitter chatter, but yet you still remain in a relaxed state. Usually when our brain doesn't have anything to do, that's why we wake up in the night with that chitter chatter. So when we're in the presence of all, that doesn't happen. So this me, like the picture, the giant me is reduced. Also, mindfulness meditation also reduces activity. MM is the mindfulness meditation in that same brain region, that chitter chatter me brain region. So meditation and awe both takes us out of that sense of like claustrophobic self. This is also important because the negative thinking, that repeated negative thinking that I often refer to as rumination, I often show a picture of a cow. That is where the beta amyloids and tau build up in dementia. And it's thought of the more repeated negative thinking that one does, the more one puts oneself at risk for developing those plaques and tangles. So this is something to really consider. Again, it's this kind of midbrain region network of the posterior cingulate that is kind of this cow chewing its own cud. So the everyday wonder, I was going to do the all slides here. Is that okay, everyone? The science of the walking. It's okay. All right. Yeah. In the past, we'd actually have people go on a wall walk and come back. This year, we're going to put it at the end so you have an option to do the walk later if it's not a good time for you. But the everyday all-in wonder, this is a study on the just taking a walk. So we're going to give you guys instructions, and at the end of the talk, I'm going to put up what those instructions are. I sent it to Anthony, and he can send it all to you individually. But they ask people to go on an all walk based on the instructions I'm about to show you, and take their cell phone with them and take 3 selfies of themselves on the walk. And I'm going to show you what the results were here. So that this is the instructions. Tap into your childlike sense of wonder. Young kids are in this kind of constant state of awe. Actually, my daughter, when I was walking in, well, I'll tell you that in just a sec. So during your walk, approach what you see with fresh eyes. I think it's good to do a little mindfulness before so that you close some of your internet browser tabs in your brain, shut down PowerPoint, and go with fresh eyes, and then take a moment to enjoy the vastness of things. It might be a beautiful overlook, or it might be the details of a small flower, a leaf you find, a tree branch, your neighbor's landscaping, or 2 people having coffee together. Wherever it is you have your walk, you have sources of so instead of showing this video of my daughter, well, I can play it and just mute it. Right before I came in, I dropped her off, and I'm like kind of in a hurry because, I'm trying to get to give this talk. And she's like, Mom, wait, look. And on the concrete steps going into the health science center, she sees a walking stick bug. And it was like, wow, let me just take a moment from being in hurry mode and just take in this awesome bug. And because of her being a child, she was open and she saw this very camouflaged bug that was the same color of the stairs, So after the walk, they, were analyzed. The selfies were actually the research, part of the research. And, people on the all walk, week 1 versus week 8. So you might not experience as much today as if you did this regularly 8 weeks from now. So this is the control condition. They were just told to take a nice walk like they normally would. She looks friendly enough. She's, giving a smile. But the all walk people, they started having really big smiles, like broad smiles, genuine smiles, and they started taking up less of the picture. So I'm going to show you this. So they analyze the amount of proportion of their selfie of themselves versus the background, and the all group over time had more and more background compared to their self. So it's a lot like the drawing at Yosemite versus the Fisherman's Wharf. And the smile intensity, so there's standardized ways to measure that in psychology. The smiles got wider and broader and more intense over the course of the 8 weeks with the all group, and they didn't change at all with the other group. So this is pretty cool. It's a neat marker. They also felt that the only significant one on this questionnaire was feeling part of something larger than yourself during the walk. The definition of all. Cool, huh? So we're going to be doing some experiential exercises that are going to get us in the mode. And then at the end of the class, you can do the all walk or you can save it for later. So thank you.
Hi, friends. Julie, that was awesome. No pun intended. Yeah,
Pun intended.
I really enjoy the science of awe, and thank you for sharing all that with us. Well, hello, friends. Again, my name's Heidi, and we are going to kind of channel some of the science of awe today as we move into our breathing and movement practice. And something that kind of popped up, a little awe epiphany. I had a little awe moment as Julie was talking about the 8 wonders of awe and that collective effervescence that we think of when we're in a community, right? At a concert, like Julie was sharing, maybe at church, or just being at farmers market on a Saturday, right? And collectively getting out and about. And I was like, well, gosh, when I do my yoga, whether I'm in a group or sometimes it's just me on the mat, I feel like me on the mat has a moment of collective effervescence, and where my body, right, all the layers, my 5 parts, my body, my breath, my mood, my energy has an opportunity to kind of just have a moment, have an experience. And for me, not every time I do yoga, but there are times in yoga, or maybe it's a pose or few in a practice, that I'm just like, oh, that epiphany, like space opens up. I'm kind of not thinking about all, like, I'm not chewing on like the cow. I'm like not ruminating. I'm just present in the moment, feeling, sensing, being. And I find that pretty cool. I think that's why one of the reasons, big reasons why I personally keep coming to the mat. And as a teacher, it's one thing that I try to plant into my practices, that perhaps students can also have a moment of that in their movement and breathing. So today we're going to do a very simple practice, because sometimes it is the simple things, the everyday things, that just allow us to slow down, to sense, to feel, be present, move, breathe in the body, and maybe discover a little awe. So if you'd like to join me in standing, we'll start in mountain pose. And I'm going to spotlight myself here. There we go. All right. So we'll start in mountain pose, just taking a moment to land into your feet, land into your legs. If you're in a space and you'd rather just stay seated, you can still take a seated mountain. But from here, as you rest in mountain, start to notice the sensation of your feet pressing into the floor. And then from here, steady into your legs. We're going to, as Julie said, for a walk, tap into that childlike sense of wonder. We're going to do a little tapping here, tapping very gently through the legs, the arms, through the trunk, kind of wake up the senses of the body. Say, hello, I'm awake and aware. So from mountain, plant into your feet, but now soften your knees quite a bit. So you can start to just tap your thighs, and you could tap with your palms. You can make a real gentle fist and tap. Just little pitter patters like a soft rain. You could just stay at your thighs here, or if it's comfortable, bend your knees a little more, maybe tap your shins lightly around your calves. And then bring that up. So to your legs, to your thighs, come to standing. Maybe tap around the sides of your hips. If you like, I like to turn the back of my hand when I tap around my lower back of the hips. Just noticing, maybe to the belly, real soft in the belly. Seeing what that feels like. Skin, muscle, nervous system waking up. And then from the belly, take one hand and go to the other arm and do a little tapping down. Again, maybe a soft fist or the palm, or maybe just a few fingers. Turn the inside of your arm up so you can tap the inside, maybe even tap inside your palm. He's like, oh, what's that feel like today? Tap the back of your hand. And then come back up to the shoulders, and then you'll switch sides. So tap the other arm. Tap the inside of your arm. Find your palm, maybe a little tap hello there. To the back of your hand, a little tap and hello. And then tap back up to your shoulder. And then from here to the center of your chest. And you can use just your fingers or that very soft, gentle fist, lightly, little pitter patter, center of chest. Maybe out, I have my little microphone here, but maybe you kind of tap out along the collarbones. And then the last from the chest, come to your forehead, little fingers, like a little rain of fingers on your face. Tap around your forehead, and down your temples. Sense your cheekbones and jaw, a little pitter patter there. And then maybe back around the ears. And then we're going to pause at heart center, center of the chest. So now one palm can rest over the chest, the other palm on top. It's a moment to settle in, let sensation be. Check in to see how the tapping felt for you today. Even just through tapping, do you feel a little more alert to sensation in the body? Or even just around you, a little more alert to the senses around you? And now that you are maybe just a little more alert and awake and aware, we'll shift mountain pose to tree pose. Invite your hands to rest at your hips. So set your branches. We'll call our arms our branches today. Hands will rest at your hips. Settle more weight into your right foot, right leg. Start to shift balance into your right leg. Invite your left leg to turn out any amount. Knee will turn away from the body, and perhaps keep your toes down. Or the sole of your left foot could start to move like an elevator up the right leg. Land the foot in a place where it's comfortable for you. Get a sense of connection, right leg, sole of the left foot. And then notice where your hands are connected to your hips. Feel a sense of hugging in, skin, muscle, hug to the hip bones. Maybe stand a little taller in your tree. Press down into your right foot. And now, how would you like to change your branches? Maybe just keep them where they are, or start to shift, play, get curious. You might come in and out of balance. Maybe left foot steps out. That's fine. Come back in. And start to navigate where you could hold the tree shape and a little bit of stillness. Locate your breath. And breathe your tree 2 more breaths. Left foot will start to find the floor. Settle weight back into both legs as you release your branches. Give yourself a little shake if you'd like. Just like animals in the wild, right? After doing something challenging, or maybe a moment of like, whew, that was a little wild, right? They need a little shake out and get ready for the other side. So now start to shift your mountain pose to your left foot, left leg. Again, being present, that mindful movement, shifting attention into your left leg, left foot. Right knee will swing out any amount, keeping care of the right hip. You can guide your right foot to the inner left thigh, any height, even toes down can feel great. Hands to your hips for a moment. Press into your left foot, tone up the trunk of your left leg. With hands at your hips, a little more hug, skin, muscle to bone. Tall through your tree, and then explore maybe the same branches as you did with the right leg lifted, or left leg lifted, sorry, or change it up. Or perhaps get curious, intentionally create a little more breeze. What is that like? A little wonderment awake in your tree, resilient through the body. Even if you step out, grow your roots back in. 2 more breaths as you're here, playing in your pose. Hands can lower. Release your right foot, settle back into your mountain pose. A moment to either shake out, settle in, see how you feel. Now rest your arms to your side. We'll start to move with the breath a little bit more. With arms by your side, connect to the rhythm of your breath. As you inhale, start to scoop your arms up, reach high to the sky. And as you exhale, bring your arms back down. Maybe the palms will turn to face your legs. Inhale again, arms sweep out to the side. Maybe you notice a little turn of the arms, and now the palms face each other overhead. Exhale, release. Arms lower, palms rest. One more time with this action, reaching out and up. Exhale here. Still with the breath and arms. This time, inhale, reach your arms straight forward and up. And then exhale down. Just adding a little element here. This time, inhale halfway out and up. And exhale down. Let's repeat that. Inhale all the way up in front. Exhale, arms down. Arms out to the side. Inhale. Exhale down. This time, inhale, reach your arms forward and up and pause with your arms up and overhead. Feel free to broaden your arms any amount to have a little more ease in your neck and shoulders. Press down into your feet, into your legs, and start to grow taller, like your fingers are lifted up towards the ceiling, almost like gravity flipped, and now you're being pulled up towards the ceiling and sky, still anchored through your feet. You could stay here, tall, reaching mountain, or if you'd like a little back bend, keep reaching tall, tall, tall. Maybe curl your chest up towards the ceiling, any amount. Press down legs to feet as you lift the chest. And on your next exhale, release. Arms will float back down by your side. Ooh. Take a moment there. Notice sensation. Notice the after effects of that pose. I know for me, I'm feeling a little more jazzed up in my shoulders and arms. All right. Next posture, from that tall, expansive pose, a forward fold. Bend into your knees and first place your hands onto your thighs. You could stay right here, look down to the floor. You could also shift to elbows onto your thighs. Or if you like, keep releasing the head and chest forward. Maybe hands rest to the shins, towards the floor, or like seaweed or noodles in water, you can let the arms go. As you're folding here, the feet keep the anchoring into the floor. Any amount the head is releasing, you could close your eyes for the last 2 breaths if you'd like. And now wherever you are in your fold, land into your feet. Press the feet down and slowly start to build your way back to mountain. You can walk your hands up the legs. As you greet mountain, take the arms all the way back up. Exhale, arms by your side. Settling back in, shift out through your shoulders. All right. From the movement, we're going to add in a breathing practice that's a little more active and energizing. It's called breath of joy. So in breath of joy, you'll take your mountain stance just a little bit wider. So maybe hip width or slightly wider. You've already practiced a lot of the shapes of this breathing technique, but now we're going to put it together and build energy. You might even have a moment of joy while practicing it. So it's a 3-part inhale. So you'll inhale a little more, and then inhale comfortably full, and a long exhale saying ah, HA, or sigh it out. So it's an inhale, 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 long exhale, ha. But there's movement with it. So the movement, we add the arms. Your first little inhale, arms come out in front. Second inhale, arms sweep out to the side. Last full breath in, arms all the way up to tall mountain. And now a big long exhale. Soften your knees and fold, let the arms fall. You pick yourself up for that first inhale. Inhale, inhale, big waterfall, exhale. And you keep repeating. You could do this as slow as you'd like. Or you might find that you're going to pick it up a little bit. Listen to your needs. We'll do 5 rounds, and I'll cue in when to take your last round. So if you're ready, soften to your knees, arms to your side. Say hello to your breath. And when you're ready, you'll begin. A little inhale, arms reach forward and up. A little more inhale, arms reach out. The rest of your inhale all the way up. Waterfall down, exhale. Pick yourself up. Inhale, inhale, inhale full, exhale. That's 2. Take 3 more. Last one. Big long inhale, tall mountain, stretch it high. Exhale, arms by your side. Feel your feet. You could keep them where they are or settle back in to feet closer together. A moment to check in with you. Maybe gaze at something in your room. Or if you feel okay right now, close your eyes. How is the collective effervescence now? Body, breath, mood, energy, thoughts. Having a moment to move and play together. One hand, allow it to rest to the center of your belly. The other hand, invite it to rest to the center of your chest. Getting a sense of belly and chest, breathing here. Allow the breath to slow down a little more after breath of joy. It might even feel nice to take a long inhale through the nose and a long exhale out the mouth. Take what you need from that movement practice anytime in your day. A little play, a little awe and balance, a little jazz up of the body, tapping, or maybe an energizing breath of joy. Thank you, friends, for this practice. We'll shift to Laurel now.
Oh, thank you, Heidi. Thank you. Oh, my goodness. Just what the doctor ordered. If we can take me off spotlight, let's see. Yep. Okay, we're going to do now a gentle guided meditation. And I'm going to ask you to try to bring in that little 5-year-old in you, a younger part of you, whatever age, but bring in that, as Julie showed her daughter, Ren, she's turning 6 soon. So somewhere around that young age of wonderment and awe of like, oh, I found this bug. Oh my gosh. Or I still get excited when I find a rock that I like. Oh, this rock. Oh, it's so exciting. So whatever brings you that sense of awe. So we're going to do a guided meditation for about 6 or 7 minutes now. And you can close your eyes if that's comfortable. If not, that's fine. A fuzzy gaze down, maybe, or looking at something beautiful ahead of you if there's something real pretty to look at. So, any one of those. And yeah, let's go ahead now. I'm going to start with sound of tincture bells. It's a little nicer sound on my end, but just the sound triggers us to go inward. So we're going to sound the bells 3 times until you can't hear it anymore, and then you'll just hear my voice. Here we go. Now bringing your awareness gently to the wonderment of your breath, feeling your breath anew through your nostrils, a freshness, and maybe noticing the temperature of that inhalation in your nostrils. Is it warm or cool? And then the exhalation through your nostrils, is it warm or cool? Just allowing that sense to soften this experience with gentleness and kindness. Breathing in those qualities from the center of your chest. Allowing your breath to flow easily like the waves on the ocean. An easy wave, easy in, easy out. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. Just being here present in your body, in this moment together, holding this precious space together of kindness and gentleness for yourself and others. So feeling your breath, maybe feeling your tummy and your chest rise a bit with the inhalation and fall a bit with the exhalation. Just allowing it to be without holding or forcing in any way. Maybe noticing the temperature of your room against your skin. Maybe noticing a sound at a distance or up close. And just observing that sound without labeling. Just how it feels, what you notice. And then bringing your awareness back into your body with your breath, allowing your breath to gently anchor you into this precious present moment. And now guiding your awareness to your feet in your shoes or barefoot, wiggling your toes a bit to feel a full connection to your feet. And now, as best you can, imagine that you had roots like a tree. Oh my goodness, that 5-year-old in you is maybe excited or maybe feels it's weird, whatever it is. Imagine that you have roots like a tree that ground you deeply into the earth. Just try to feel what that might feel like. Imagination. Those roots guiding you softly and gently and kindly into the earth. For strength and stability, a sense of groundedness, maybe a sense of connection, a connection to all that is through this vast network of roots. Opening up your heart a bit more, maybe. Allowing this wonder and awe to come as it may, a little or a lot, without judgment. Reveling in this moment of no place to go, nothing to do, just being. All you're doing is being, your essence of you. Breathing in, breathing out. Letting go just a little bit more with every exhalation. Maybe noticing your shoulders and jaw drop just a little bit more. Now breathing these qualities of strength, resilience, peace, groundedness up through your left leg and right leg, into your left hip and right hip. And now feeling the full weight of your body on what you're sitting. And slowly bringing your awareness back to your room. Your feet grounded to the earth, awareness of your breath. And take your time. Slowly open your eyes if they're closed. Just be with yourself, asking yourself, how do I feel? And however you feel is okay. Whatever feeling, emotion you have, welcome it. It's all okay. And know you can do this anytime for yourself, in seconds or minutes during your day. Thank you so much for trusting and being present here today. And Julie, would you like to?
Yes, I'm gonna talk about the walk instructions, but I did want to, people wrote in the chat some neat comments about their experiences of awe that I'd like to just celebrate for a second. Watching a child discover new things, their fascination, if we take it for granted, but yet we are able to continue to tap into that feeling. It's not something that, disappears with adulthood. It's just that we put all these other things that don't provoke awe, as I mentioned, money, acquisition, electronics on top of it. Life and death, seeing the ocean, the mountains, watching the moon. I'm definitely a look at the moon type of person. There are some memes on that. And again, it doesn't diminish. Every time I see the moon, look at the moon. Love, seeing a rainbow after the rain, wonderful. Touching a shooting star, it's the same feeling as body surfing a wave, just right, just only for the mind. I like that. Feeling less pressure towards my body and senses. That might have been something that came out of doing the practices. Being out of birth, the national parks, and I think now we've gone back to the ones that we talked about before. I'm going to place in front of you the instructions, but I also want to say that I'm going to be playing a video that we can watch. If you cannot at this moment get up and do a all walk, there's a short video, and you can watch it again. But let me move on from the science slides. The PowerPoint gives me like a barrier. So we're already in that state from Heidi's yoga, from Laurel's meditation of openness, right? So tap into that childlike sense of wonder, just like we approach all our thoughts, and emotions during mindfulness with a sense of wonder. We're going to do that for the world. And then try to approach what you're seeing with fresh eyes, like you're seeing it for the first time. And when you take in the walk, if you're going to do the walk either now or later, try to take in the vastness of things, whether it's a large vista or whether it's the vastness of the beautiful detail of nature in a tiny flower leaf. So we're going to give that a try. What time, guys, should we be back? Like maybe with 3 minutes to the hour, something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to advance to the next slide. For those of you who are going to stay, this is about a 4-minute video, and then you can, watch a video on nature to your own liking afterward. That kind of talks about the vastness of scale. So otherwise, I'm going to go and take a little walk on my porch and back, and if you want to watch the video, you can too. And we'll meet at 3 minutes to the hour.
Law enforcement didn't really have a hero. Famous people ever to come out of the small county, major county, the rest of the city, or
Right. We are back and open to anyone sharing their experiences. I know I saw a little flower on a weed, and there was a housefly on it, which neither of those seem like amazing experiences, but it was so beautiful. You know, to take time and look at something you might not normally look at was a really nice experience. Anyone else?
I stayed indoors and just walked around my family room. I have a lot of little picture frames and memorabilia from trips that we have on like the bookshelves and just around in our dining room. And I just strolled and allowed myself to reconnect. Like, oh, they're always there. It's kind of like out in nature. That tree is always there. These pictures are always here, this trinket. But I allowed myself to reconnect to looking at the pictures again, looking at the little trinket, bringing me a sense of memory. Yeah.
Reminds me of my mom. She would talk about doing that in her own home. She just had an inherent natural sense like that.
Oh, I love that.
Anyone else? Oh, a sense of calmness and not worrying about everyday things.
Yeah.
Yeah, these things are there, but we might take them for granted. But once in a while, we can spend time with. And also remember that the data that I showed, there was like week 1 versus week 8. The all walk actually builds up with practice. So you may or may not have had any experiences today, but you know, doing this, maybe you normally take a walk, designate maybe 5 minutes to having it be an all walk, or maybe every time you know, get to a certain point, take a little moment, close those internet browsers, you know, maybe look at a vista, look at a scene, or feel yourself in your body, do a little tree pose there. You know, you could do something that allows you to tap into that feeling. I take my environment totally for granted. Yeah, our own homes, we took such care to put things in our places, even in our own environment that we live in. And
Yeah.
we can appreciate that and not just dust it sometimes.
Right, right.
Yes.
Or appreciate while we're dusting.
Yes, yes.
And Morgan just said, go ahead, Julie. Do you see that?
No, you go ahead.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
Okay, hang on. I lost it.
Yeah, Morgan, I'll share. I have it up. Morgan shared, I just sat on my back porch with my coffee and watched the birds and really appreciated how my cat reacts to seeing them. Her little chitter noises will one day not be around anymore because she won't live forever. Oh, our pets. Love for our pets. And yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Whether you're walking or just seated, yeah, looking around, looking up.
Yeah. I'd like to say, kind of in general, when you bring your awareness to the present moment, you know, really with some intentionality, there's it's very healing of the body, mind, and spirit. When you bring your awareness intentionally to something that is pleasing, a sound, just kind of looking for it, kind of like intentionally looking for it. You know what I mean,
And that's
Julie?
a wonderful way to end on the class. We're taking you a little past our class time, but I noticed somebody had a question. And so, you know, you can either ask that question now. So if anyone has any questions, or, you know, you can wait till some of the persons leave, or if you know, send us a question that arises now or later, that can work as well. So.
Yeah, I have a couple questions. One, there was like a really great meditation we had last week that sent yourself loving kindness 3 minutes in the future. And yeah, I do some private practice counseling on the side, and I've got, I mean, everybody's got anxiety these days. I mean, we all have
Yeah.
anxiety these days. I would love to use that if there's a transcript of that or something. I would love
I
to.
will talk. I actually got it from a Western Tibetan
Yeah.
practitioner who calls himself the Trauma Lama.
Okay. I would love to be able to
And
use
you know,
that with
he
some
has a lot
folks.
of trauma in his life, and
Yeah.
he uses that.
Yeah. If I could get a transcript of that or something, I would
I'll
love to,
I'll
like,
make sure that he
and
would
then
be. I do have it written, but it's typed on a piece of paper and not
thank you.
electronic
I
at all.
appreciate it. I was just like, oh man, I could think like 5 people offhand that I could have used that with, including myself. So
Mm.
the other question I had real quick is I keep like seeing on my feed or whatever, which means that I probably need it. This thing called somatic yoga. Like, does anybody know anything? And do you have any like, suggestions for best places to access those kind of videos and stuff? I'm guessing I need it because it keeps
Yeah.
coming up on my feed.
Yes. If it's okay, Julie and Laurel, I'll answer to that.
Yep.
Yeah. So somatic yoga, basically somatic movement is a little more just it's allowing the body to kind of like move intuitively, not having any set agenda, like warrior 2, warrior 1, but
Mhm.
starting little bits of movement. Maybe it's just rocking back and forth, doing that a few times, and then seeing if you want to start adding in some circles and swirls. Then maybe building it up from there, or doing some of that from standing or seated or on the floor. And there's different little somatic sequences that can take place, but it's really about kind of releasing the agenda mind,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And tapping a little more into that felt sense of movement, just somatically letting the body find its way and into moving and breathing and experiencing postures.
Are there some like YouTubes or anything that you would recommend? Because there's probably, once I Google it, there's gonna be like a million.
Yes, you will find a lot. Yes, and I can also share. If you stay on for just a moment, I can share my email should be there, and you can send me an email. I actually have I do yoga teacher trainings, and one of my former teachers from a few years ago, she's offering all month, every Sunday, 11 a.m., I believe, on Zoom. They're free somatic yoga practices.
cool.
And I did it. I'm going to try and do it next Sunday too. I did this past Sunday. It was wonderful. So it can be a great way to try. And I'm recommending her because it's someone that I know and trust and what she's
perfect.
sharing. But yes, you can find a lot on YouTube, and I'd be happy to share her Zoom information if you're interested.
So I'll just send you an email.
Based on your description, Heidi, it seems like you integrate some of that already, like the way you often teach the class. So Heidi teaches free yoga classes as well that are free in person here at the Health Science Center. So there are also some videos that you can find of her on her Facebook page. So, those resources are free too. And you can ask the instructor, which is to have that interpersonal interaction is really valuable too.
Yes, thank you, Julie. Yes, I do integrate it. I might not come right out and say this is somatic movement, but I do like to integrate it. Again, I appreciate the benefits of what that allows in generating that within a yoga practice. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for that question.
Someone else had a question. I don't know if they're still here. Christina Hash.
No, that was me.
Yeah.
There you are.
And Christina, I started an email thread with myself, Julie, and Heidi. So when they have those resources, they can just send them.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks. Helpful. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome. And thank you everyone for coming. We're going to say goodbye now because we're going to meet just for a couple minutes after this. Yep.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.